Hello, hello, hello. Just thought I'd come out and see if anybody might have any questions about the video, today's video. So just here hanging out. So if you want to hang, come on and hang. What's going on, Donald? What's happening? What's up? What's up? What's up? Just came on to see. I'm Reginald Martin, aka Kuakaru, and I'm the founder of Kemetic Centered Living. And I like to say I help people live life boldly, authentically, unapologetically, and on their terms without guilt or shame. So I just wanted to hop on today. So I know I've done like a couple of videos here in the last couple of days and wanted to see if people might have questions about the video, might want a little bit more insight about it. Also, it gives me insight about how you see it and how you think about it. So, and the video is basically teaching the Kemetic idea of, or giving a foundational piece, I should say. Tomorrow, I'll do another video that will basically kind of fill in the blanks about really helping you to connect to being authentic, being your authentic self. Okay, so that's what it's about. What the video series has been about. So if anybody's got any questions or anything, I'll be glad to answer questions on the subject, on the topic. If not, then it'll be a short live and we can keep it rolling. So let's see what's happening. Let's see. I'm struggling now trying to see the screen. I had to get cataract surgery a couple of weeks ago. So now my vision is reversed. Where I used to be able to see close, now I can't see the stuff close up. So I got to struggle. So if y'all see me doing this, I'm trying to adjust. I still got my other eye. So it's all good. It's all good. So what's that? Rune Jen. What's up? What's up? And then we got Third Eye Open. So what's happening? What's happening? So yeah. Okay, now let's see. You came with those. Let's see. Let's see. Introduced to no major resource access to only. Yeah, I don't know about all of that, man. So, yeah, Satanic Mafia. Says if resources to operate with the knowledge is inaccessible, there is no inaccessible knowledge. So no inaccessible knowledge at all. So you can get downloads all the time. Downloads all the time. So yeah, but anyway. So yeah. So if y'all got anything, hey, I'm here. So just Kemetic science, metaphysics, any of those good things, we can talk about. If not, then hey, we'll keep it rolling. But I do want to say like one of the things that I try to do on my channel is to express some ideas, and they're not always popular, because one of the things I believe that is stopping us from really developing who we are is that we're not able to live life in an authentic way. That we're literally told that we're supposed to measure up to something, and literally told out the box from my Christian upbringing that we cannot, that we're born sinners, and that to me is a travesty to be taught those ideas. And I know I was, born Christian and raised in a staunch Christian family, a lot of different things, and those ideas impacted my family in a very negative way, So and I know my family is the microcosm of the macrocosm. you know. So I can look in communities all around the world where there are indigenous people, and a lot of the communities are poor, they're downtrodden, and blah blah blah. And I think a lot of that is that racism does have a part to do with that, but there's also an inability to solve problems because we're being made to think a certain way. And so my content is to basically say, hey, look, this is the old way that we were taught, and this is the way the religious teachings were, but the ancient teachings that they were formed from are not the same thing. Okay, so that's where I'm coming from with a lot of my content, and I don't people really grapple with that, because like Christians can hear me say something about the Bible, and they can assume that I'm like speaking from their Christian perspective, and I'm not. So I'm not Christian, never will be. No longer used to be, never will be again. So so with that, but the main idea is the belief that we can be more and do more, because we live in a universe where we are literally gods and goddesses in training, and we can basically develop and do more things that we want to do for ourselves. Okay, so that's where KCL is coming from. So even with my African Mind Rewire class, that's about basically helping a person develop themselves and understand from a metaphysical perspective how their mind really interacts with the universe as a creative tool. So that's a very very powerful way to look at things. So today's, like even today's video was, again, it was just laying the foundation for how do you do that? How do you connect with your inner self? How do you become more connected to the universe in a way that basically suits your soul, uplifts you, and helps you to live your best life? That's a powerful place to be. Let's see, Shauna A, what's happening? What's happening? Yeah, I just came on a little bit earlier today too, because I wanted to give my peoples across the pond. I know I come on in later on in the evening, man, and it'd be like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning there. So I wanted to basically give them a chance too to say, hey, what's happening? So that's what it's about. But yeah. But any rate, that's what it's about today. I know I did one video short that I did, and I made a comment, that like the Jesus and the what was it, the what they call the hidden years. Everybody makes up these ideas about um, where he might have been between the ages of 12 and 30. You know, and believe me, I was a strong believer in the idea of Jesus until I got more information. But that idea is basically part of the Kemetic mystery systems, and part of the Kemetic mythology, where they got Horus the younger, and then Horus the older, okay, or the more mature older Horus of the mother, which is Earth Horus, and then Horus of the spirit, or the more evolved spirit. So the ages of 12 and 30, which is basically based in numerology. Okay. So if you look at the numbers 1 plus 2 equals 3, okay, 12 years old, 1 plus 2 equals 3 in numerology. Well, when you add a 0 to a 3, that automatically means that it's a higher level. So it's that the number 3 at a higher level when you add to 0. So 3 plus 0 equals 30. Okay, so 12 and 30. So that's the idea of where supposedly Jesus disappeared between the ages of 12 and 30. It's just numerology, and then the characters are explaining the numerology. Okay, so Horus was explaining numerology. That's all it is. But you hear a lot of people that you talk about the stuff like this, and they just assume that, I guess I must be crazy, and I don't know why they want to argue with a crazy man. So, you know So it's a very interesting dynamic, you know. But some very very powerful stuff. So just even the idea of connecting vibrationally, you know, and understanding yourself, because you know I've been there's so much knowledge that's been going around and filtered now, how just being inauthentic causes illness, you know, and I know for a fact in my family that that is true, you know. So I don't know if, you know, people might have heard of Dr. Gorbar Mate and some of the stuff that he's been doing, and saying how people they a lot of regular medical science does not will say that they don't know how a person comes up with autoimmune diseases. Okay, say rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes. Okay, especially in the Black community, we deal with a lot of diabetes. Okay, those are autoimmune diseases where essentially your system starts to attack, your immune system starts to attack your own body. Okay, your own body, because the immune system keeps out invaders. Okay, but what Dr. Mate has found is that people who live inauthentically, they're not themselves. They suppress themselves. They suppress anger. They do all of this stuff. Those people are the ones who end up getting autoimmune disease, to where your body can't even recognize you at a cellular level, your own system. You're living so in a way that is so inauthentic that your own system doesn't even recognize you and starts to attack you. That's wild. That is absolutely wild, you know. And for me, I know within growing up Christian, there's a culture within Christianity that promotes being inauthentic. You know, I don't know if how many of y'all have heard the idea of the Proverbs 31 woman, you know, the virtuous Proverbs 31 woman, and how she is supposed to be this model for you know, a Christian woman. And if you read what the way that people describe a Proverbs 31 woman, she always puts everybody before herself. You know, she's selfless. She looks after her family. She looks after her husband. She looks after everybody before her. Okay. Well, just so happens a person, those are the traits of the people who suffer from autoimmune disease. Okay. Dr. Mate linked breast cancer to women who basically have those traits, that over the years they've dealt with anger and suppressed it and stuff like that over the years as a coping mechanism, basically to get along, you know, to go along to get along. Okay, that they've linked it, these mindsets, to the illness. He talks about there's no way that you can unlink your illness from your mind. Okay, so this is some very very deep stuff that we're talking about here, that you're basically if you live in a way where you're suppressing who you are, you know, you're giving up, you're putting everybody else's needs before your own, then you're going to be living inauthentically. And if you live that way, and a lot of times is people that live that way are dealing with childhood trauma, where they're trying to get people's okay or people's love by giving up who they are. Okay, in other words, if I give in to and be the way that you expect me to be, then you're gonna love me. Okay, and it ends up becoming a coping mechanism, to where people start to live like that, and over a period of time that energy becomes bound and blocked up, and it ends up creating illness. Okay, so that's what he's talking about here. So it's really really interesting, the whole idea, you know. So let's see, it is a question. um See, somebody said is Patricia Clark says, "Is anybody in the Bible real? Do you mean if they are historical? No, no. There's no grave sites or anything from anybody that was biblical. Okay, there's none. So there and we most people have tried to research the Bible to confirm their beliefs, not to find the truth. Okay. So most people have the most Bible scholars, and there's a not, and what ends up happening is a lot of Bible scholars, they end up researching and figuring out that what they were even taught about the Bible in church and stuff like that is just not true. So, but it's not my, I don't want to like malign the Bible and Christians. That's not my idea. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I want to do is to help people understand that they've been given a frame or a box in which to think. Okay, your whole world has been your whole world. Your mind creates your world, but if you're taught to think a certain way, then your world has been limited by the people who's taught you how to think. And that's a lot of times what has happened with people who are raised in Christianity. You're supposed to follow rules. You follow all these rules, and life is supposed to be wonderful. But there's so many contradictions and conflicts within that system. Life is not real good for most Christians. Depression, all kinds of stuff is always running rampant because you're living inauthentically. You're trying to meet these standards. You're worried about if you don't meet the standards, what are people going to say about you behind your back? And all this, you're worried about judgmental people being judged. There's all kinds of mental issues with that whole system, okay? That whole culture. And for my family, they suppressed themselves and their inauthenticity so much. I've had four uncles and an aunt die from cancer. Those diseases are not genetic. They're not genetic. It's not about the genes. It's about the atmosphere that they've lived in and how they've grown up, how they deal with life. And I have an uncle that just recently, my last living uncle, just diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Love him dearly. Great dude. I mean, if you met any of my family, they would tell you, they would give you the shirt off their back. And my uncle is one of those people, you know. But just about every one of his brothers and sisters have died of some type of cancer, most of them from pancreatic cancer, which has to do with, on some level, the pancreas has to do with diabetes and regulating sugar and stuff like that. And I mean, unable to process the sweetness of life. I don't know, but there's definitely a mentality behind it. And that culture that's been promoted. And my family, every single one of them was staunch Christians. Christianity tore my family apart, So it's not that I'm wanting to attack Christianity. I'm wanting to bring awareness to a way of thinking and a cultural way of thinking within Christianity that destroys us from the inside out. Okay, that's the whole idea. If believing in Jesus works for you, more power to you is what I say. Really, if do not change anything that's working for you in your life. If it's working good for you, keep doing that. But if it's not, you have to question. You have to start asking questions. But within Christianity, you don't start asking questions about what's the problem with the system. It's always turned in on you. What's your problem? What's wrong with your faith? What's wrong with, blah, blah, blah. And again, it's just a culture that is harmful. And Dr. Mate talks about the idea that what's normal is not always healthy. Christianity has normalized this unhealthy way of being, this inauthenticity. They've normalized that, suppressing who you are. They've normalized that, you know? And most people think because everybody lives that way, that that's the way it's supposed to be. But it's not. It's not. All right. Patricia Clark. Oh, you're very welcome, Patricia. You're very welcome. So yeah, so thank you for your question. So again, it's not, and I hate to even get in debates with Christian people or start to trying to argue with them about their beliefs, because you're not going to change mine and I'm not going to change yours. What's the point? And to me, if you come to my channel and start wanting to argue with me, why do you need to convince me? Obviously I'm crazy. Why do you even need to talk to me? Why do you even give a crazy man the time? Unless you have your own doubts. And you need to try to at least convince you. That's where it's coming from. Woohoo! That's where it's coming from. You got your own doubts. So you need to convince somebody else. Need to convince somebody else. But yeah, here in the next week or so, I am going to be opening up my African Mind Rewire class, and actually be doing lifetime subscriptions to the class. I hadn't done that before, but I'm going to do it in a way now to where the content is going to be the center, you know, and because I have been doing like coaching and stuff like that with it. Give people access to that, to the recordings, but now you just have access to that course. A lot of the other content, the KCl Knowledge Stack is what I call it, because you basically, with the way that I do the content here, it's one to help you unlearn the old religious, unlearn the religious doctrines, and a lot of people can do that. But one of the things that I do, that I think I do better than anybody, is that I can help connect you to what the actual teachings were supposed to be. Okay, so I've researched the ancient Kemetic teachings extensively. I know and I know metaphysics extensively, and understand how they talk about and speak about the metaphysics and the ancient symbolism and stuff like that. So I connect that. So even when I'm talking about the tools that I'm giving you and you're using, I ask one question: do they work? One question. And that's really all you have to do to decide if it's something for you or not. Does it work? And I know without a shadow of a doubt that it does, because it's worked in my life. And I know many others that use these tools and live by these principles, that they work. Plain and simple. Kemeticism is not another religion. Okay. And that's what a lot of people who get wind of these ideas, simply because Christianity formulated from the principles, does not mean that Kemeticism was a religion. It was a philosophical system and metaphysical system, among other things, you know. But the Christianity and the doctrines were formed from erroneous teachings. They're doctrines and dogma. But Kemeticism itself is not a religion. It can exist alongside any spiritual system. I like it because it answers the questions that I had about Christianity. What about this? Were the people real? Where did this come from? This belief come from? Where did this idea come from? You know, like the Trinity. Okay, Revelations. Is the world going to end? Kemeticism answers every single one of those questions that Christianity has used to basically scare us. Okay. Let's see. Are the characters in the Bible historically true, actually living people? Joanna, actually, I was just asked that question. Patricia Clark just asked that question. And no, they were not. They were not. Dr. Ray Hagins has done a lot. If y'all want to look up Dr. Ray Hagins, he's done a lot of extensive research on that, and he's one of my heroes. And I can tell you that he inspired me to do what I do. Okay, but look him up. And he has a lot of extensive research and videos on YouTube that will explain his findings from that. What I do is I take it to the next level. So and I explain and teach what to do with the knowledge that was changed in the Bible. Okay, I explain the metaphysics of it that really connect you mind, body, and soul. So that's what I do. Yeah, no problem, Joanna, no problem. So it's all good. Well, thank you for the question. Thank you for the question. Let's see. DMKC says, "Hey Reg, what's up, DC? DM. Let's see. Just tuning in, and showing up to support. Appreciate it." So, question says, "How can I show up authentically with speaking up more than being used to the indoctrination of I'm sorry, I can't say defeat silence from religion. Not for just how can you use your voice, to start speaking up. One of the things that I would recommend because it's not going to be what you tell people, okay, about this knowledge. You're not going to especially people want to go and try and like they learn a little bit of this knowledge and they want to go and try to like tell Christians, oh hey, what you're doing is wrong. They don't want to hear that. They don't care because they're living in their world, No matter how jacked up we might see it after we get this knowledge, they're living in their world. This knowledge is for you, okay? So it's not for you to necessarily go and change people. Now, I share my experience, and that's why I do what I do and why I teach what I teach. I share my experience, okay, and I share the knowledge that I know from experience, okay. But I don't care to change a person's mind. This is for the people who are already transitioning. Okay. These are for the people who are already transitioning. And what I do is I give guidance there. Okay. And again, I just ask one question. Does it work? Okay. I know it does. I know it does. So I'll give you a lot of tools and processes to help you through all of this. Okay. Oh, Dulce Maria, what's up? What's up? Didn't know. Yeah, you changed your name on me. What's happening? Let's see. This video just randomly got onto this. I need help. What should I do? The herbalist, I'm not sure what you're asking for help about. Okay. So yeah. But at any rate, let's see. Fergie 201. That's Christianity background trying to change other people. That's an exhausting way of life. Ooh, yes, it is. Absolutely. And Christians believe that they're going to get, the jewel in their crowns for helping others, But man, I lived Christianity for, my up until I was about 20 years old, man. I mean, when you talk about somebody that was immersed in it, I'm 60 years old and I'm still trying to get over Christian stuff. Still working through it because it weaves itself so much into your life and in so many areas, into your relationships, how you deal with your relationships, everything, So there are some things you don't come across until you trip over it, So it's like, man, it's no joke. It's no joke. Let's see. Just to feel, yeah, that's the herbalist says just to feel like a man and to find inner peace and stand my own ground, and herbalist, it's a process, and it's not something that just happens overnight. Because first of all, if you've been Christian, any of us that have been Christian, we have learned the idea that we are broken, that we're born sinners, that something is wrong with us. That right there undermines everything that you believe about yourself. You end up allowing others to like look at you or see you as broken. And if you start to believe that, then everything that you do is filtered through that idea, through those limitations. Okay. So it's important to start to build yourself. And that's where again the knowledge here that I teach, one, it helps you get over to see those Christian doctrines for what they were. Okay, they were errors. They shouldn't have not have ever been taught the way that they were taught. Okay, so it's a process, and that's what my content, my classes and courses, that's what I help you do, is I help you through that process and give you tools, simple tools, and they were supposed to be simple tools to work through. Okay, and help you with that. So it's believe me, it's not always a simple process. Okay. All right, all right. But good question, herbalist. So thank you for the question. Thank you for the question. Um, let's see. Anyone else? Any other questions? Any other? Any of my peeps from across the pond? Any of my peeps from across the pond? Just want to say, hey. So hey, we just a little bit earlier today, a little bit earlier in the day. But tomorrow I'll have another video tomorrow that is going to be like part 2 of the video today. So if y'all hadn't seen that video today, let me see if I can get the link to that bad boy, and y'all can check that out. So it's teaching tools, a tool, okay, that can be quite helpful for you. Okay, quite helpful. But I'll put that link in the chat. And so there's the link to today's video, and then basically part two's video will be tomorrow. Okay, you put these 2 videos together, and I promise you, you use the knowledge in those that I'm teaching you in these videos, and I get very detailed, so you won't be having to guess, and it won't be hard. But if you use that knowledge, I promise you, your life is going to change. If you start living using that knowledge, okay, your life is going to change. Plain and simple. Okay. I have no doubt. No doubt. All right. All right, family. Let's see. We got anybody? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? No questions? Well, it's 3:33. That's my number. 3:33. Yeah. Oh, and my time anyway. My time is 3:33. But that's all that matters. It's my time. Okay. Let's see. Shauna A says, honestly, I kept going back to Christian stuff for the sake of my family. But how do I know if my dreams, visions are coming from my consciousness? That's the only place they can come from. Where else would they come from, Shauna A? Where else would they come from? Okay. So they're a part of you. Okay. You're most welcome, Dulce Maria. She says, have a great Friday and thank you for doing what you continuously do. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. So thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the kind words. All right, gang. Well, if nobody else has any questions, then I'll hop off. And thank y'all for being here. I definitely appreciate it. I'll come back on again. I got the other video tomorrow. Maybe I'll come back on again tomorrow morning. And if you guys have questions about those things, I'll be glad to ask. Okay. So, all right, billionaire, go ahead. Go ahead. I got the. You'll be the last question. Make it a good one. Make it a good one. So come on with it. All right, all right. I guess he's formulating the question, so we'll give him a little time. Do 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 do. Give some Jeopardy music. Oh. All right, billionaire, you must got a long question. Make it short, make it sweet. Let's see. If our bodies are attacking us internally, okay, come on, gotcha. If our bodies are attacking us internally, that's due to inauthenticity, not living your true self, not being who you are, not loving yourself. How do we change without blowing up on everybody? So in other words, how do you stop like uh holding in all that anger and then at some point exploding? If you're inauthentic in the moment, you'll simply handle it in that moment. You won't let a situation like build up that energy to where it happens over and over and over and you just never say anything about it. That's being inauthentic because you're having somebody do something or act in a way that you don't like or you don't appreciate, whatever that it might be. Okay. And it might be you might be in the wrong. Who knows? Okay. But if you're not speaking up in the moment, then that energy starts to build from it. And then at some point, there's a tipping point or the straw that breaks the camel's back, and then you go boom, you explode. But if you're being authentic in the moment, you're going to say something about it, even getting angry about it. At that moment, you might be like, oh, wait a minute, and you handle it in the moment, but it doesn't have that force and that build up behind it. So it's not like an explosion. You might wrinkle your eyebrow or whatever, just say, hey, wait a minute, no, I don't appreciate that. But if you let it go and let it go and let it go, it just builds up energy, just builds up and builds up until one day, boom. So be authentic. So I'm saying to you, be authentic in the moment and handle up on it. Let them know if something is bothering you. Now, if it has been something that you've had let go for a long time, be aware of what's going on and handle it in a way that you don't blow up. But talk about it, talk through it, do whatever. Do what you need to do. But be aware that if it's something that's been bothering you for a long time and they trigger you, okay, then you could explode. But now that you're aware of what's going on, you can handle it in a way that you can both come to a resolution. So yeah. All right, family. Well, I'm gonna roll on out. Y'all have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you all for being here, and I will see y'all then. Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah, it says, okay, one billionaire says, maybe, how do we stop thinking about the moment afterwards? You might not. You when you handle it, then it's going to dissipate and then you're going to deal with what you deal with. You keep thinking about it because you don't let it go or you haven't resolved it. Once you resolved it, you don't keep thinking about it once you resolved it. Now, if it happens again, that's another deal. But once if you truly resolve the issue, you don't keep thinking about it. The energy behind it is not there. Okay. All right, family. Y'all have a good one.